Like we got him.
Incorrect. I got him.
Well, either way, we're gonna collect this bounty. What the?
Alright, mic's working. That's good. I like when things work. Alright, let's queue up something else. Come on now. There we go. There we go. Sure! Let's go with this. There you go. Alright. Yeah, groovy, groovy. Oh! Good morning! How's everybody doing? Howdy. I'm Cody with IronVerse Comics. This is Cody Comics, Coffee, or Coffee, Cody Comics, or Comics, Coffee, Cody. One of those combinations works. Coffee. Hope folks are doing well. Haven't streamed for a while, so I thought it was past time. So I thought I'd say howdy. I had some time. Fine and dandy, that's good. That's good. That's a good good place to be. Big fan of dandy. Alright. So I don't like there's no goal today. I was just checking in. That's exactly what I was doing. I'm alive, I'm well. Just have not been here for a while. Many reasons. Work's primary one. Not too much. Not too much to cover today. But again, just thought it was time, so thought I'd come in and say howdy. Howdy, Mrs. H. Hey ho, indeed. Wait, who you calling a hoe? It's alright, I forgive you. It's gonna be a busy week for me. Gonna be a busy week. Birthday week. Turn the big 3-0 on Friday. See how that goes. So I haven't hosted anybody in the house for about a year. So I'm being forced into spring cleaning in a good way. So that's my main thing I'm doing today after this is I'm going to town and picking up a bunch of much needed cleaning supplies. And then I'm gonna spend the next couple days making this place seem like it's livable. I'm kidding. It hasn't been that bad. In fact, I already hit it. What was it? Saturday night. I did a damn fine amount of cleaning. So just trucking at it. And little baby chickens are doing well. They're getting their feathers in. I'm gonna have to film another IronVerse barn and share that here shortly because it's really cute when they're getting their feathers in. It's a trip. Super energetic. They're doing really well. I'm happy to see that. I did one more drawing piece. I want to say, it's 3 days ago at this point now. Oh God, almost 4 days ago. Work really took the steam out of doing that, so I'll try and get another drawing stream done this week. I'd like to do more than one, but I did do one more piece. Nothing extraordinary. I'm not that skilled. We might do one today if I feel up to it, but I don't know. Here. Where am I? Oh, the other screen's gone. Did I delete it? I must have by accident. I did when I was cleaning stuff. Damn. I had it all set up so that you guys had a nice little screen and you could see chat better, but I was a fool and deleted it. I don't have anything to replace it right now, so that's fine. You can still kind of see it, but I think I'm gonna have to do that. Alright. But yeah, here. Did this a couple days ago. Same day I did the Courage. Getting there. Inch by inch. I'm starting. Valcoins was very smart in suggesting, the Hanna-Barbera kind of art style to start off with. I think that was quite smart of him to suggest to me because far less intimidating than some other ways you could go about it, right? Geometrics and such are much simpler. The angles they use, the detail, right? It's a good way to dive in. So that's going to be what I'm tackling. I think the next thing I want to try is I'm going to try to do a Zim, Innovator Zim. Again, since I'm doing it all for reference, it's not. I think it's helpful. I do think it's helpful, but it's not building a fundamental, so I have to do more of that as well. Significantly more. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm still waiting for the. Still waiting to hear from Indiegogo. They still didn't even tell me, oh, great, you successfully funded. Like, I'm pretty used to getting that email. So that's a little worrisome. But, said they'd take about 3 full business weeks. So, 15 days or 21 days is more what I'm going for. So, after that 21 days, I'm going to get a hold of them. See what's up if it hasn't cleared by then. And then once it's cleared, I'll start reaching out to people for the sketch, what the commissions they wanted were. Get Illustrator Monk going as well. And we'll figure it out from there. Got a hold of Maxie today. Well, tempted to get a hold of Maxie today, so we'll see if there's any more progress. And honestly, that's where I'm at with updates. Have not done too much. Treated myself to a couple things for the birthday, so I'm excited for those things to come in. That's about it, honestly. I started Common America 5. Did not finish it because I started it very late. I think that's it, really. Yeah, not much else going on over here. Just a lot of waiting, hurrying up and waiting. Let me see. Alright, I'll check that now for the heck of it. So that's correct. But that's not correct. That makes sense. Let's go over here because I doubt that's been done then. Pretty sure you get an email that says we've sent your files as well. But I don't know. Yeah, that's where I thought we were. Yeah. Super entertaining stream, I know. And you can all thank me later for wasting your time like this. Yeah, no, that really is all I can think of today. I gotta figure out how to get some smells out of a carpet. That'll be fun. There's been a couple different chemicals I've used that very temporary. I need something a bit more permanent, so we'll see. There's a lot to figure out. I was never much of a tidy fellow. I do it like here and there, and then I really like it, and then it slips because other things get in mind, and then it's one of the lowest priorities, even though it is really good for mental health and so many other things. I need to get better at that, and hopefully this bigger cleaning will help me do so. Right? I'll see the scale and how letting things go. Ain't that great? Yeah, otherwise, really, I'm trying to... I don't think there's anything else. What do I need to do? Hiya, whoever you are. Oh, it shows up after on my restream chat, so I don't see it. Oh, Scott! Welcome, brother. Welcome. Not much is going on. You're not missing much. Honestly, this was just a checking in and an update kind of deal, and there wasn't much to update, right? On Scott's end, however, the Recluse preview's almost done. I've seen the page 5 now. It was a work in progress, so it's about done. I'm super excited for that. Came out really cool. I love the stylistic choices they've made on that series. It'll be really fun to share with folks. That's had some good progress. Cax Coyote, I think we're still just waiting on some more colors. We've got the letterer just kind of waiting. He's our wonderful letterer at Jack as well, Vince Rush. Waiting to hear back from Maxie still. I think Maxie's just swamped with projects still. He was last year, and I think he is still this year, and he's trying to find his rhythm still. And today I called him out on it, so we'll see. We'll see if I'm right or not. Oh, yeah, sure. I forgot. God, man. My memory is good when it wants to be and bad when it needs to be sometimes. I would love to share that, Scott. Let me go ahead and open those up because these are adorable. These are excellent. that did not open up what I wanted. Okay, do that again. Open image in new tab. There we go. That's what I needed to do. The cuteness. Oh my god, adorable little kittens. Okay, well, see, now we're having a fight over cuteness, as you will see. Let's turn that on, and then turn off. And voila! We have chibis. We have chibis. We have Chibi Jack. And they will be in color, as Scott says. So we have Chibi Jack. We have Chibi Coyote. And we have Chibi Recluse. Chibi Recluse is adorable. Chibi Recluse. Chibi Coyote. Chibi Jack. I don't know what he's blushing about, but it's adorable. With his baby level stubble. Adorable. These are very cool. These are very cool. And very useful. I'm excited. Excited for their finish, because there's a lot of different things we can do with these. If nothing else, they certainly set a tone. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it. But yeah, that's something we could show today. Excellent. Thank you for reminding me, Scott. Yeah, there you go. Fits perfect with the images on screen. Alright. We'll take another look at this. Recluse looks deadly. Oh, it is a deadly recluse after all. Shifty and shady. Look what they did with the feet. The thick black line. It's an interesting effect. It's just got the stare. Trying to get that shot. You know? That's as far as we get. All right, so then I'm gonna have to go here. There you go. That's the shot, right there. That's all we need. It's a spaghetti western stare. Even when it's cute, it's deadly. Ooh. Alright. Even those tiny bullets have bite. This is true. Tiny little bullets. You don't need to grip a gun when you have tiny little hands and feet. It just sticks to you. The skull is very hard to make cute. It really is. I like kitten yaps. I've raised many a kitten in my life. I like kittens. But I'm just kind of built that way. So. But I can see that, man. If you're trying to sleep, you got all these other things going on. You know, pain in the butt, man. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Still works, though. I'm assuming yes. Like I said, the memory, and I already don't know what you're talking about. Oh, ah. Almost done with this coffee, and that might be it. Only been 20 minutes, though. Man, it feels like it's been longer. How do you calm them down when you've already fed them and changed their litter box? You don't. They're animals, man. you spend time with them and enjoy them, and they get happier, and you get happy. Would be the hope, right? They just yap. So when they're young like that, they're trying to make sure their mama's around, right? And if their mama's not around, then they're yapping for you, or whoever the caretaker is, right? Past that point, cats actually do not make noise. They're silent killers, right? So anytime you hear a cat that makes noise, meowing or whatever, that's specifically an adaptation to deal with humanity. It's their one way to literally speak to us. So you can encourage it, you can discourage it, whatever you want to do for your animals. I like talking to them, so I encourage them to feel like they can express themselves and be heard. But I get it. It just depends, man. Like I've taken care of animals has been one of my big callings in life, my whole life. So perspective, right? Different perspective. Did you announce the last 2 pages for the Recluse preview will be on the Jack and Irish Patreon? I didn't announce that. I didn't, because I haven't figured out how we should handle that yet. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. You are correct, though. That's where they will be. I'm thinking we just dump the 5 when it's done, quote unquote dump. We put the 5 when they're done as the Patreon kind of like preview and see how folks like that. Probably keep it at the high level Patreon tiers, like $5 or more, right? And then I can market that. But at the same time, it would be good to show at least a panel or two to the backers as well at some point. I got to do another update that's more substantial than, hey, look, I've started drawing again, and I got the standees in. Now it's silence, which is not great. So I'm trying to figure out like the rhythm, right? The rhythm, and I'm hoping to hear from Maxie. That sure would be swell. Been nudging him every 2 weeks, and now I think I'm gonna have to do it every week, and then pretty soon every day. But yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be definitely be cool. And thank you. That is where I'll be. If you folks aren't already on there, which I know Mrs. H is, if she's still hanging. Yes, you can get to it. Thank you, Robot. You can get through it through IronVerseComics.com, but here's a direct link to the Patreon if folks are interested in checking it out. Tons of free content. It's like 98% free content, but I think the stuff that isn't free is pretty neat too. You get access to our animations, you get access to the work in progress stuff. I'm going to start doing a few more Patreon exclusive videos. Should be fun. So go check it on out if you're curious. Or haven't already. It should be there. Cool. I got stuff to pick up today. Yeah, you figure as much. Your dad's girlfriend is their caretaker, so you step in for them and take them over to your room. That way they can get their sleep. Yeah, that's the bit, right? They don't want to be alone. That's all they're kind of yapping for, right? They're just little things. They don't want to be eaten. I don't blame them. I don't want to be eaten. They may be snack size, but they don't want to be a snack. How old did you say that? Only a week old? So they shouldn't leave their mama for like 2 months. So yeah, if you're having problems with them, they are in a very unnatural state. They are probably scared shitless. But good on you. That's a tough one to do, right? We had a stray that found her way here, and she was prego. So we took care of her for a while, and then I helped her give birth to her kiddos. It wasn't the easiest birthing process for the lady. And then took care of them, again, 2 months, 3 months, I think. And then I started finding them homes at about 4 months, I think is what it was. Got them all homes. Hopefully good homes. As far as I could tell, it looked good. I didn't feel bad about any of them, but you never know. But, gave them the best start they could hope for. A lot of cats have much worse starts. Sometimes they just need to be next to a warm body. Yes, you had a kitten that liked to curl up and fall asleep in the front pocket of your jacket. That's the big thing, right? Especially if they're only that old. They should be like next to mom the whole time, and they're yelling to find a tit. To be honest, right? They're yelling to find milk and comfort and make sure that they feel safe. So I don't blame them. The sad part, man, the mama just dumped them and she never came back for them. Gotcha. Well, then you gotta do what you gotta do, man, to take care of a new life. Like, again, good on you. But, yeah, only a week old, that's rough. I've heard this damn thing too many times. There you go. Okay, almost made a half hour. Might just keep this one short, folks. I don't really have, again, much to chat about. I work, right? I've been doing work. Work's better, but we've hired more folks, so a lot of the weight is off of me, which is nice. These folks have been good so far too, which is nice. Which is the best part, honestly. Physically though, my right hip is not doing well. I've got to go check that out at some point. Anywho, so that's been kind of like part of it too. I'm coming home in a lot more pain than usual, so I haven't really been up to doing the after work streams either. Drawing. But I get to rest now. I gotta, usually I'd be working right now. So I was able to lower my workload as well. Besides, the days I'm working, it's lower thanks to us having more folks in finally. I am working less days. So it allows me to kind of rest. So that's good. Because this kind of stuff is a lot less, it doesn't cause the physical pain. So that's nice. But yeah, honestly, not much else to share. The chibis are adorable. I am a fan. But I don't have anything else set up soon. I'm really hopeful. Again, Maxie's what I'm waiting on. Oh, you're the warmest of warm. But how warm, you don't know. You have 2 blankets set for your bed, and you keep them little ones by your side at all times. Well, there you go. There you go. And getting their nutrition correct is the other thing. Which it isn't too hard. But it is work. Yeah, I've just got those 3 baby chickens, and they're a lot easier to take care of than mammals. Birds are a lot easier as long as you don't, screw up right away. But these girls, I don't know. Probably working on something like that. Start to get their big girl feathers in. I'll have to I said it earlier, I'll have to film another IronVerse barn. Just so you folks can see new feathers coming in. It's very cute. They're getting warmer. It's getting warmer around here, which is nice. I overdid it on Thursday, patching the roof and such, so that made this weekend a little harder work-wise. That was the other thing, but I got it patched as far as I know, so I should be okay. It wasn't the house roof, luckily. It's the additions, overhang stuff. Sometimes when it's cold at night, you get resourceful and put on a sweater and let the laptop run for an hour. There you go. Get that warmth. For these chickens, I just run a heater. It'd be better to have a heat lamp, and I thought we had a heat lamp, but I couldn't find a heat lamp. But they're already getting their feathers in. Once their feathers are fully in, then I don't need to run a heater anymore. They're getting there, so I'm not too worried on my end with my little ones. Little peepers, yes, they do have little peepers. Ooh, action music. I'm good. Yeah, a little bit of banjo. Take some banjo twang. There we go. Cactus Coyote. Oh. Wish I had something more interactive for you folks right now, but I don't. Some point, I've got some good ideas for more interactive live streams, but right now, a stream like this one, I'm not too concerned. 35 minutes. I'd like to make the hour, but I don't know how. I think I might just call it here. Again, I was just checking in, putting down content. If folks have any questions or anything, let me know. I'll hang out for a few more, but probably gonna call it soon. The little chickies always running around and peeping about. It's adorable. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My 3 now are less peepee. Much less peepee. They start off more peepee and then they get quieter. These 3 are more, they're starting to get inquisitive and brave, which I like seeing. These are getting stronger, right? And they're getting really confident, which I like seeing. Means they're not spooked to be here, which is nice. Yeah, I don't even have anything I read recently to talk about. I mean, I read the newest reprint of the Shaman King volumes. What was it, 8 came out? That's good. I'm excited mainly because like it had a really low period where like I could see a lot of readers jumping off the series. Like it got that bad, but it's been slowly repairing itself. Which is really cool to see, and I know it has a definitive end, and I think we're getting close to it. I think it only has like 13 volumes, so we got a while still, but or not 13 volumes, 13 omnibuses, which is like 39 volumes, something like that. That's been good. I can actually, there's a point where I wouldn't have recommended Shaman King, but then I keep reading it and it recovers, right? So that's really cool. And then what I ordered for my birthday is 6 of the Viz Big edition of Inuyasha. Inuyasha was one of the first, alongside like Cowboy Bebop, was one of my first real like obsession with anime, and I really want to see how Full Metal Alchemist was the other one, and so I picked up Full Metal Alchemist last year at some point, and man, reading that was wonderful. I love Arakawa-san's her approach to storytelling, And so I want to see Takahashi's approach, because I've seen the animation, I know how the story goes, but I have no idea how the actual creator directly communicated that to a reader, to an audience. And with Full Metal Alchemist, it was just beautiful. I can recommend the shows, sure, but the manga is just the pacing, the expression, it wastes no time. I love it. So I want to see that with that as well. It's a guilty pleasure romance deal too, right? So I think that'll be fun once those are in. That was my B-Day. Yeah. Here. Oh, and I also got Trigon Maximum Second. Omnibus, I think they call it, right? Unless I was dumb and actually just bought Volume 2, but I thought I got the Volume 2 Omnibus. Let me see the page count. That'll tell me. You got a page count? Oh, no, I was dumb. So that's probably included in that then, huh? Yeah, well, I bought something I didn't need to. That happens. At least it was cheap. But let me go up here. I'll show you. They're called big editions, but they're just 3-in-1s, right? They're just tankobons. It did, part of the proceeds went to quote-unquote charity, though, which is nice. It went to libraries, like I bought it from a library. Trigon's worth it. It's, said this again and again, like, people really like Trigon. And I know why, because I like it for those same reasons, but I don't really like it overall. So we're gonna turn off the music for this hot take. So Trigon, really unique art style. Its characters are exceedingly vivid and well defined, and Vash as a hero is magnificent. The storytelling, however, panel to panel, page choices, the beats that are hit, like if you compare it to music, a lot of it is very off rhythm. Is the best way to put it. I like there's some really bad indie comics I've come across. You have to go back and reread a page, right, to know what they were even coming across, right? Trigun's just about the only manga I've ever read that was a thing relatively consistently. So you're looking at it, and it's really cool art style. It's really pretty. You kind of know what the story's doing. You do know what Vash is doing and what his intent is throughout all of it, but it's not smooth. It is not. It is not smooth. So I've had, it should be right up my alley. It's a weird western. It's got an amazing protagonist. It's got a really cool art style. But I haven't finished all that I have, and it took me forever to get through the original run of Trigun because of it is a difficult read. And so that sucks, to be honest. But it doesn't. It's still really cool. It's just it's the most unclear storytelling I've experienced in a manga. Like, again, panel to panel, page to page, not overall. Like by the time you're like through it, you know what's happened, you know what the characters are, all of that. It succeeds in communication. It's just, again, the direct experience as a reader that I had was not great. Not great. So it's totally worth checking out, though. Like, if you're into weird westerns, you're into world building, you're into a very clearly defined and very unique protagonist. Like, I'm jealous of Vash. I really like that protagonist. Just like all the beats that Vash hits, the human stampede is, I really love. But again, the panel page to page storytelling, it's not clear, and that's either made worse by being in English, which could be a big part of it, because of course I've got the Dark Horse volumes, and so it could be a little bit to do with translation, but it's still panel to panel, right? Like there's some pages where the paneling is not clear until you look at it for a good chunk of time. And that I couldn't blame on translation, right? That's just straight up how Nito did his layout, and it wasn't the greatest. It's a cool, striking page, right? It never looks bad. The pages taken as a whole always look good, but again, it's the flow, it's the pacing, it's the rhythm. It's off kilter. It's not refined. Uh, so far, Maximum, which was the sequel series, is a little bit better, which makes sense. He's had more practice, right? So I am excited to finish that at some point, but it still has its problems. So I'm only, I think, 1.5 of the 3 volumes in that omnibus through it. So we'll see. But like some of it could be that, but nonetheless. So that was that hot take. Here's what I got, and then I got the 6 off of Amazon. I was bidding on somebody else's lot on eBay here before I got this. This was my plan B because I wanted to save some cash. Right, it was a pretty low goal for the. It had the six of these. That didn't work out. It got more expensive than just buying them off of Amazon. So at least these folks not only decent price, but also some of it goes to a library. So I'm happy for that. But yeah, big edition I think is just 3-in-1s. They're not like bigger than average manga, right? Like I think they're just normal manga size. They're just like I was talking about the omnibus, right? They're just chunky. They're just chunky. But again, I'm excited to read this because it looks like the one thing they really did with the animation that she did differently. Her characters are much softer. They're much more feminine than, yeah, especially Kagome, like right there. Significantly more feminine than they are in the animation, which makes sense because I think they're trying to target the anime right towards more audiences because it's a very violent, gory anime, right? So it definitely tried to bridge the gap, just like Full Metal Alchemist, between feminine sensibilities and masculine. Though I think Full Metal Alchemist definitely, like, she was able to just almost fully put it into just human sensibilities and big ideas. Inuyasha's got the romance angle, and it's got a lot of that to play with, but then it throws in the demons and the gore and the violence. So I'm curious how her interpretations of the paneling and the pacing and then those softer lines, that her actual work, like how that communicates in the story. So I'm excited. So much monies. I have bought many a manga and many a comic, and that is still cheaper than the final issue of Gru I bought. It's cheaper than this single comic, which is the most expensive comic I've ever bought. But I wanted to complete a run, so I did. This comic costs more. This single thin little floppy costs more than those. But it had a teeny tiny print run, and it actually finishes off this run of Gru the Wanderer. It's like the last 20 issues or so are super expensive. The last issue of Gru from Epic it runs from $80 to $120. I got it on the cheaper spectrum of that. So in terms of like quantity of storytelling, that was a great deal. And like, what do I charge for a comic, right? so like I have no right complaining myself when I want to read a series like that. And so yeah, I put down like about $100, and I'm getting those 18 volumes of Inuyasha is what it's going to be about. Even though it's 6 big editions, which I think are 3 volumes apiece, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be collecting that for a while. There's I think there's 13 big editions, something like that. So 13, 14. So that's gonna be another collecting. I've been collecting Fist of the North Star when it comes out, Shaman King when it comes out. Shaman King's gonna end soon enough. And so I'll be able to do this Inuyasha about once a month, something like that as well, which will be good. I really like my manga. I really do. Like I look forward to that. It's sad to say I'm certainly more of a manga reader than I am a comic book reader at this point. Uh, when I read comics, I am just it's very hard for me to find one that does what comics do better than manga. Uh, that do that well. Most of the time, it's just very slow, and so I don't tear through it. Manga, like its pacing, is just fucking incredible, and it keeps rewarding the reader. Where a lot of comics don't do that, and then like the comics I really enjoy tend to be crowdfunded, so they're not like right. There's not like a bingeable. Whereas like when I'm buying back issue manga, um, I can get a full story, a full series that's very long, and I can binge all the way through it. Right. I love me some manga. Um, so I'm hoping to learn a little bit from manga as well to improve the pacing in my own work. I still think I'm going to be weaning off the teat of Western sensibilities to writing. Um, but we'll see because basically I don't want somebody when we're doing these large crowd-funded books that cost quite a bit and have a high production value and all of that. Like I don't want you tearing through it in 5 minutes like you would a manga. Like I don't. I'm not providing 200 pages like Mr. Carpenter from Draw and Talk, right? Um, he is taking the manga path from the Western perspective, which I think is a great idea. I think American manga is undersold as an idea. But at the same time, like I don't want to be that person who I was reading my book and it was super slow, right? Or I was reading this book I bought super slow. So I'm trying to find the mid ground. Hopefully, issue 4 finds that mid ground. If not, issue 5, it's gonna be tough to find that mid ground. Issue 5's plot is insanely heady and really important to me. So I have to get it right. Issue 5 is going to be the toughest issue I've written because of what I'm tackling. If I mishandle it, I will regret it my whole life. Uh, but and much more pages for the price they ask compared to an American comic. Yes, and they also work themselves to death. Not always, not everybody, right? Some mangaka are very smart about how they do this work, but some were not so smart. Um, but you could see the passion poured into the book, so it's tough, right? Like I didn't know this person, so it wasn't a personal loss for me. But at the same time, I knew their work very well, and it goes unfinished because of how hard they worked on it at the beginning. Like insane levels of dedication and work ethic to the point where I don't think it's ethical work ethic. I think it's insanity, just plain and simple. And so, like some of the best art comes from very tortured, dedicated souls, and I appreciate that gift that they leave. But at the same time, they didn't need to be tortured. Certainly didn't need to torture themselves at the very least to get the work done. But it is what it is. But I'm excited. I'm excited to read that. I did preview some pages on Amazon for the heck of it, because of course they at least show you the pages, right? And I like her paneling. Okay, he's less soft on that cover. That's funny about that Trigun that I didn't mean to buy. Oh well. Thought it was something else. That's what you get for buying things late with a couple beers in it. At least it was like $8. It was not a biggie. I like gifting stories anyway. Yeah, see like that. That's really floaty. I love it. Over here. Like very gentle, dedicated line work. And then where most of the detail is coming in is for these backgrounds and the screen tones, right? And I'm very curious about the language pacing. But yeah, it's very loose line work. Like, look at how soft that is. All of it. And then she just applied a screen tone on top of it. Like, if I hopefully will continue to draw, um, there's certain bits from manga that I really enjoy that I'd like to integrate into some semblance of a style. Because the hyperrealism, I don't think I'll ever be able to do. I started too late. Uh, but I also don't want to do super cartoony kind of face. You know, I want to have kind of what Maxi does with his grounded cartoony style, where it's definitely Western, it's gritty, but it's still looser than say many others. And I think I would try and integrate something looser. But like the page work is relatively simple. But like that's a 2-panel page, right? Like 2 panels, 2 words, and some sound effects. If this was a Western comic, there's a good chance there was another dialogue balloon here with like 3 different ideas, and then there's another one here, and then you know, that's why I like this. Boom, super quick action, a little bit of speed lines. I'm not the biggest fan of her speed line work, to be honest. It gets the job done, but I think Maxi does better speed lines. Which I think he takes it from the Akira artist. What's his name? Otomo. I think there's just things. Oh, I know. Okay. So yeah, no, I am very excited to read these. Again, it is much gentler than the anime, so I'm excited. I'm excited. Something about prostitution in chat. What are you people doing? All right. But we all have to make our monies any way we can, as long as it isn't prostitution. I mean, to be fair, there's a couple different kinds of prostitution, and some people that's what they want to do. I don't think that's the majority of people who are in that line of work. I think that is the vast minority. But some people, you know, that's what they want to do. You know, more power to them. Yeah, her speed lines they're not very strong. Again, she's very gentle. Like if you look at Arakawa's work, the Full Metal Alchemist mangaka, she doesn't use speed lines much, but her line works a lot edgier. It's a lot more. It's a lot. I'm not gonna say stronger because that implies quality. I mean stronger in terms of impactful, right? It's more. This is very light and floaty and in its own way. Like I bet her romantic moments in Inuyasha are just beautiful, and her comedic moments are probably so floaty and just awesome. Howdy, Mortal Death God. What do you think comic pro means? So I've been asked that a lot. So professionals, to me, it is your profession, right? It is what you are employed and paid to do and what you live off of. That is professional to me. Period. But other people, it has different meanings, right? Some people it means you're doing it in the industry. That makes you a professional, even though you're not making enough to live off of it. For some people, it's simply publishing work makes you a professional. For me, though, it is your profession. It is what you are paid to do, and it is what you live off of, and it is what you do day to day. That's what makes a professional to me. Hopefully you're good at it as well, right? but you don't have to be good at it to be a professional. You have to do the work, and you have to be paid for the work, and that work tends to have to be your primary, if not only, source of income. It has to be your profession. But especially in art, that has a lot of different interpretations, the term professional, right? Some people would imply that I've become a professional. That's not true at all. I am a lucky hobbyist who works with professionals. Maxi, professional. That's what he does. He is a professional draftsman and illustrator. Stephen Cannon, he is a professional comics colorist. Me, no, no. I am a vanity hobbyist who really is lucky in the talents and folks that he's been able to work with. But yeah, that's funny. Well, let me see if I can find the right thing. That's why it was so cheap, because I thought the omnibus, the Trigun Maximum Omnibus 2 was really hard to get a hold of, and I saw it cheap, and I was like, oh, awesome. But yeah, no, that's why. There it is. Yep, 120 bucks. That's what I thought I was getting. It is out of print, is why. It is out of print. That's why I made that mistake, though. Easy mistake to make when you're 3 beers in. Yeah. No, this is just it's just an extra volume of a manga now. I can donate it. Okay, I can see why though. I haven't picked up anything of the last Ronin. I've heard it's incredible. Isn't it done by one of the creators, Eastman, or is it done by Laird? I think it's done by Eastman, isn't it? Either way, I've heard nothing but good things. Nothing but good things about it. And I'm so glad. Like that property has been. It's one of the most amazing success stories in comics, basically in pop culture, which is incredible. But just so you folks know, and I don't feel as embarrassed, so I bought this, thinking it was this. Thought it was this, and that was me being pretty dumb. I saw the price tag. I saw the cover with with him on it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no. This has such a low print run. That's why. God, I feel dumb though. I still feel dumb, but I feel less dumb now. Oh, Cody. At least it was cheap. I didn't spend a bunch on it. This free comic book day should be fun. I hope so. I hope so. Like indie comics is having an extreme boom, like such a massive boom that I think the big players, the big two in particular, are just trying to downplay it as much as they can. And then even the bigger indie publishers aren't leveraging it as well as they can. Um, and I think the big players, they're trying to downplay it because they are losing so much ground, thinking they were going to gain a bunch of ground with this consistent radical direction change, and it has not worked. Very much like Facebook and Meta, a lot of these radical changes that they think people will just hop on board because hey, new shiny thing, and we're telling you it's what's going to be good. They do not have respect for humanity. It's definitely the sheeple mindset that they are expecting to be there and is not there. Which I'm so glad it continuously fails. I'm so happy about that. And Discovery is making big moves with DC properties. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I hope so. In good ways. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know what's coming out on Free Comic Book Day. I know one title from Red 5 from a buddy. Oh, well, but a peer, an acquaintance, a little bit more than an acquaintance, a really cool comic creator. It's called Bjorn the Littlest Viking. It's a very cute, all ages, Calvin and Hobbes art style kind of ongoing series, if I remember right. Um, and I think I wish him all the best because that's his first like big like publication, and it's gonna be on stands, and of course it is part of Free Comic Book Day. So if you see Bjorn the Littlest Viking from Red 5 at your Free Comic Book Day, please pick it up. Just for me, just please pick it up because I don't have a shop here, so I'm not gonna be able to participate in Free Comic Book Day, or else I would. Um, they already canceled Legend of Tomorrow and Batwoman. Yeah, I saw that. I never paid attention to much of the so My dad watched a lot of Arrow, but mainly because we had it, right? The DVDs. I watched a good chunk of Flash, and then like I got bored of it. I watched a good chunk. I watched all of. I loved Constantine. They canceled that one after one season. Um, and then I didn't watch Legend of Tomorrow until John showed up in that, and then I watched a little bit of it with John, and then I still didn't care about most of the plot because it didn't involve John. Um, and so I was just so I didn't care. Like in Batwoman, I never had any interest. I didn't like Gotham. A lot of people liked Gotham. I didn't like Gotham. Um, so like a lot of that, I just don't. I just don't care. Um, but yeah, Discovery's making some changes that are probably necessary. Where's Jack on Free Comic Book Day? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, Elias Bar. Best I can do, and what I probably will do, is offer free digitals. I just don't know what day Free Comic Book Day is, so there's a good chance I won't. But that's the best effort I could make, Elias Bar, and also welcome. Uh, yeah, you think you saw that on the catalog? Cool. Well, check it out if you would. If you're, don't. If it's free, like there's no harm. But it's an all ages adventure story with again a really kind of cutesy Calvin Hobbes style from a very dedicated and kind creator. So I would love to see that get all the success it deserves. Uh, Arno won't be able to drive to the local comic shop because your dad crashed your car because some idiot parked by the sidewalk decided to make a U-turn to the other side of the road without lights. Yeah, that'll happen. There's a lot of idiots driving. You want to get barbaric. That's what I thought. You'll pick it up and review it right on. Hindsight now. For now, Superman and Lois is good, right? Like I have no idea. I started Superman and Lois. I got into teen drama. I think we spoke about this before. I got into the teen drama and I checked out. Like the opening scene with Superman being Superman in the classic 30s outfit. I was that's pretty cool. And then like everything after, like I had no interest in. But I don't watch much TV anymore. Like I'll binge an anime once in a while. I'll watch a new movie, but like even then, like I'm mostly watching YouTube documentaries, like uh, by far documentaries, sometimes reviews, long form reviews, but sometimes VODs as well. Um, but like actual shows and stuff, man, it there's very little coming out that stimulates me to try and watch it. May 7th. Oh, okay, so it's Saturday. Yes, it is technically free to read, but like not to have a free PDF. But you are right. You are right. It would be pretty redundant, but it has something to do as a promotion. Like typical DC, I hate how they did my boy Bane on Gotham. I have no idea. I have no idea. I know some people liked Penguin on Gotham, I think, but like again, I had no interest, so I didn't really watch it. I don't even know how I got pretty far into Flash until it was like just more anti-Flashes. Like every villain after a certain season ended up just being another evil Flash. And I'm just like, okay, I get that was a lot of Flash. DC Comics Flash. I know that's like a big thing of his, but like at some point, just do the movie and move on. Like it's not great for an ongoing series. I need to be stimulated, not consistently seeing the same sludge. But it is what it is. May 7th. Okay, that's good to know. So it's a day after my birthday, Saturday. Okay. Yeah, the teen drama's a little much. That's what they do, though, right? That's CW. That's like their brand. So I get it. Even when it's adult drama, like I say, The Flash or Constantine to a lesser extent, but Arrow, right? It still feels like teen drama, even though they're adults. It's a little not my bag. The only anime you can recommend now is Ranking of Kings. You of all people need that in your life and good promotion. Yeah, that's all I was thinking it would be if I did it. That sounds like the Flash comic book. Exactly, that's what I was saying. I was like, even though that is the Flash comic book, like there was more than just those, right? And you still had villain of the week kind of stuff. I would have preferred that. Gotta go faster, Barry. Yeah, every season, right? You got a video somewhere where you break down and analyze the episode of Flash where he runs through a black hole. Oh no! It was the Speed Force, Elias Bar. It's always the Speed Force. Um, But that at least that's slightly more interesting than a Reverse Flash #4, right? Um, I can recommend depending on what you like. So I really loved Comey Can't Communicate. I think it is a beautiful love letter to anti-social, um, Asperger's level, what is this? Social anxiety and problems, right? I think it is just fucking adorable and really got a beautiful heart to it. I love that. It's releasing new episodes every week, so I'm waiting for a couple more weeks so I can watch a couple in a row. Um, I watched Kokoro Lives Alone. I really enjoyed that as well. It was a really neat perspective on childhood. I think it was a great exploration of that with some really quirky characters, which a good slice of life anime should have that. I think those are the two I've watched recently, and I binged. I really like those two, and I'm waiting for more episodes, which is great. Uh, Back catalog anime I could recommend quite a bit more. Oh, okay, let me see. Let me see. The black hole would have destroyed Central City by the time he ran into it. Oh man, black hole so quick, so quick. Yeah, I mean, stronger than light, right? A massive exertion of gravity. The X-ray radiation alone would have cooked. Yes, yes. The visuals for Flash now, I've seen those. Yeah, I remember when it got really bad. Like somebody cut out, did a clip of it that I saw. That was just terrible. It was just terrible. To be fair, I started the Eternals. I didn't watch the Eternals, and that clip they cut out of Angelina Jolie that was making the rounds, that was really bad. In context, it wasn't so bad, but out of context, it was terrible. So there's a good chance some of the bad Flash is like that too, but I might be giving them a benefit of the doubt. I couldn't finish the Eternal. I got literally like I watched the opening scene when they're being the Eternals with the ancient Sumerian people, and then when it got to the modern times, I checked right the fuck out. Like nobody interested me. So it was like 7 minutes in or something. I was done with the Eternal. Um, you read a lot of it. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You haven't watched the anime. Got it. Komi Can't Communicate is just spot on. I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful, like even the opening comment they use every episode about it's like it's not that they don't want to, it's that they can't easily, so they make the effort. I love it. I think the heart is just so wonderful, and of course uh, a lot of us creative types can find some kind of resonance with her and her situation, even if it's not as serious, not as debilitating. um, Again, I love that. I love that. Kokoro Lives Alone though was a lot of fun too. It's a lot of heart. Very very smart. Young man. Um, and then the plot that's running in the background with his father looking for him. I think it's just really cool. What is he? He's 4 or 5. That's it. Really cool. Kokoro, was that the show about the kid that was psychic in a weird psych club? No, 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 no. Kokoro Lives Alone is like a 5-year-old who moves into a neighborhood by himself, and it's just he becomes a friend with his neighbor who's a mangaka, and he starts finding a family. His mom left him, abandoned him, so that I think she could escape the father. And then he escaped the father himself and went and hid. In fact, I think she's dead because he's getting life insurance payments, and that's why he's able to live alone. But it's a child trying to cope with being an adult with this wonderful sense of like you can see his compass, how he builds his compass of how to live from that naive childlike standpoint, but still very direct, very honest, earnest. I really liked it. There's some weird parts, like one of his neighbors, a super pervert, like he's a pedo, like no question. He's really into Kokoro, but it's a friendship and played for lightheartedness. So there's bits of that like that where that's a little much Japan, but I mean that's Japan though. But at the same time, like it didn't torpedo anything else that they were trying to talk about with how they approach things. It's got a really weird art style for the eyes too. It's a straight line down for the pupils. Very unique. I can recommend that. quite a bit. But yeah, no, nothing to do with psychic, no supernatural anything. It's just a slice of life with a quirky premise, right? Like a lot of Ranking of Kings, about a deaf prince on his journey to become king. Deals with a lot of deep stuff while also being wholesome and endearing. Honestly, anime of last year. That's what I've heard. I've heard a lot of good things from Ranking of Kings. Last season they had Speed Force lightsaber. That was it. That was the one I saw. It's ridiculous. It's just like lightning bolts, right? But they were using them as light. Yeah, I remember seeing that. God, Flash. That went on too long. Most of these CW shows go on too long. Mob Psycho was what one's uh, project after One Punch Man, and I think that was the one that he did the art himself at the manga finally again, right? Like he practiced enough and got to a point where he was confident enough to do it himself. So that's like his full self-sufficient expression. Whereas he has Morata on at least I think that's the last name or family name of that excellent artist who does One Punch Man. You're thinking of Kotaro-san, which was cute, weird, and oddly wholesome by the end of it. Oh, okay, okay, with the psychics, yeah. No, this is here. A lot of K anime I'm talking about today. No, I'm sure this was a manga first. I'd be very surprised. Uh, do I have the name wrong? Because this ain't it. This ain't it at all. Image wise, but oh, Kotaro lives alone. That's why I had the name wrong. There we go. Yeah. This was it. Yasuke Morata. Okay, I was right. At least I think I was. That was a lot of cosplay. Was it based on a live action? Or the other way around? Because it looks like they did a live action, because that's most of the images I'm seeing. And it could honestly be done live action, and it'd probably be pretty good. But yeah, this is Kotaro lives alone. Very cute. It was very heartwarming. I appreciate those very much these days in particular. Binge the hell out of that. Then again, Comey can't communicate. I can't recommend enough, especially if you have any personal experience with social anxiety. It's the most respectful depiction of it, while still being like overtly cartoony in terms of like it's a caricature of social anxiety, but it doesn't come off rude. It comes off as like, let's show one of the worst examples. One of the strongest examples we can even think of or imagine, and then make that seem manageable. I think that was really cool. Murata is like if Hara and Miura had a son. So I hesitate to put Miura in there. Miura's inking compared to Murata's very, very different. So I'm not sure what aspect, and that's what stands out the most to me with Miura's work. So I'm not sure what aspect you mean, but let's so here's a generic panel from here, and then let me maybe I can convince myself otherwise. So let me look. I can't picture it directly. One Punch. Manga. See if I can find something because it's closer than I was imagining, to be fair. It is definitely closer than I was imagining, especially stuff like this. But it's floatier. It's definitely lighter. And that's probably what the Hara, right? The Tetsuo Hara that you're talking about. Because it's like detail-wise and the angle he chose and all the breaking and stuff. Like, yeah, okay. But like how he inked this, Miura would have done it quite differently and a lot bolder, right? It wouldn't be as clean. Miura had that darkness in everything he worked, is the best way I could put it. Bled into his line work, it bled into his inking, it bled into his story and writing. This is floatier. This is more graceful. It's less Dragon Slayer and more Katana, right? It's less a big slab of iron and more a precise surgical instrument. But nonetheless, like the detail, I totally see what you're talking about. And that's probably, again, what you're saying about Hara. That would make sense. That would make sense. So yes, you did convince me more than I had imagined. I just had to look at it. Because, like, watch, here's what I pulled up for. See how darkness, it's just angrier, blacker inking from Miura. What I was trying to look for is that Piccolo looking bad guy from One Punch Man. I was going to compare that to this, but he didn't show up. I forgot the villain's name, right? He's the first guy One Punch Man takes down. At least I think he is. He sets the tone for the series. That's what I was looking for, but this felt more Miura. But again, it's lighter, floatier, softer work than Miura. Miura's a lot of weight. Let's look at some Hara. Tetsuo Hara. Oh, Fist of the North Star. That's okay. That's what I thought it was. I always think of Bronson just because the name stands out so much. Oh, come on. That's too low res. Give me some high res for Fist. I mean, Fist was heavier too. Fist was heavier too. But maybe not as heavy. I would say Miura's closer to Hara. You see how heavy all that is as well, like in the muscle there, and then how he shaded all of this. It's heavier. It's still floatier than Miura, but it's heavier than Murata. Murata's still very light. I'd like to see like what influence he did pull to get that more, again, graceful, lighter feel to his inks. But then again, Murata is like a generation separate from both Miura and Hara, right? So he's got a lot more influences to pull from. Whereas literally Berserk took massive influence from Fist of the North Star from the get-go. So you can see that a lot in Berserk. So good. I haven't gotten to this part in Fist. I don't even know who any of these characters are. But we'll get there. I'm on the Omnibus 4, I think is what's come out. So as it comes out, I'm reading it, and I love every volume. I basically tear through the volume the second I sit down to read it. That's so good. There's barely a better compliment you could come across. That might not be. That might just be some other. That might not be Fist. That might just be a different bit of Haru's work, would be my guess, actually. And then here's Haru's tribute to Guts. I don't know when it was done, but it's nice. Very much still Kintaro, but you know, got the eye thing going. He nailed Dragon Slayer, to be fair. Still feels like a big chunk of iron. It's a little thin. Right there. He wanted the blade part of it, right? Whereas Miura didn't care if there was much of an edge to Dragon Slayer. He like it was there. It was definitely had a edge, but he knew it was the weight and the strength of it that was gonna do the work, and not so much its geometry, right? Very cool stuff, man. Excellent artists, fucking incredible artists. But Murata is incredible. But again, I think there's another like influence there that I wish I could say what it was. That gives him his again, what I've been saying, graceful, floatier line work where it's smoother or softer compared to that weight that both Hara and Miura put into their inking. Or their assistants put into their inking. To be fair, Uh, but then again, Biora was an assistant for I guess it would have been Hara for a little bit there. Because I think it was no, he worked on a baseball manga. George something. Forgot his last name. Never mind, I'm getting it confused. It totally is something else. Well, we got more out of the stream than I expected. Thank you for the prompts on wonderful mangaka. I thought this was going to close about 90 minutes ago, so that's pretty good. Man, we're talking more about manga. Comics! Kick more ass, please. Just, I want to hear within the next year or two, oh man, Spider-Man's excellent. Oh man, Thor, my god. I want to hear Batman, not just the 50 series you're putting out, but like there's 3 Batman titles and they're all fucking killer. I want to hear that, goddammit. I want to be jealous and I want to go and read Western comics because they're excellent. I'm sick of I'm sick of just being like, well, there's nothing out I really want to read. So I'm gonna go buy old manga. Like I'm tired of that, man. Like indie comics, I'm so happy to support all these new wonderful talents coming out through crowdfunding. Um, but like, come on, guys. Give me a reason to feel bad about not collecting new comics. It really bothers me. Like, I don't think I've ever felt bad about not collecting new comics. Like, it bothers me. I think that some of that's my own awareness, right? Like, there's probably plenty of good stuff coming out of Image that I'm not aware of because again, it's creator owned and usually the marketing's not there. I also don't have a shop, so I don't go and browse and like, oh, this looks cool, right? Like I just don't hear it. Um, I'm sure Dark Horse is probably putting out something all right. I would hope. I mean, they're Dark Horse. I would hope. Like even from their name, they should. Ah, there's a lot of the mythology of Dark Horse I really like, but like title wise, like Hellboy's all I've ever really tried to read. Um, IDW, I know they're very hit or miss, and very much more on the miss section. Um, Heavy Metal was trying to put out some things, and then they're not. I mean, they put out Maxie and Steve's work and something, so I don't care. I'm a fan for life that they gave them a shot. Um, but yeah, there's just there's just nothing that I've come across that's like, oh man, too bad I'm not collecting that recently, especially from major IPs. You don't really care for football, but Ice Shield 21 was a fantastic read, and that was Murata's sport manga. I bet that would be great. With how he does his line work, I'm sure the action and the comedy will hit extraordinarily as long as it's written well. It's not my fault you're not reading the Western comics. Recommend. It's true. It's not you. I think you've been enjoying Sweet Paprika, um, and Dolfo's work. It looks very fun and sexy as she does. What else did you check out? You like Savage Avengers? I'm curious in Savage Avengers, but I know they just rebooted it. I have no idea how that's gonna be. Uh, so I would still be reading the old, at this point, older trade paperbacks, right? So it doesn't quite. There's not a series that's ongoing that's not crowdfunded that I am hyped for every release, and that's a lot of it's my own fault, I'm sure, but uh, I had my ear pretty low to the ground on independent comics. There's not like much coming out that stimulates me. Like even from the mid to lower tier indie publishers, like Scout and again Red Five or Source Point Press, that level of folks. Like even that, I don't Nothing stimulates me, man. Just go back and either buy old trade paperbacks of runs I like, buy new crowdfunded stuff from creators and series that they're doing that I like, or I'm buying old manga or new manga. Like, next month, I finally get to continue Battle Angel Alita. Like, I've been waiting for that for like 8 months at this point. It's still better than waiting for what Miura was having folks wait for a while there. But nonetheless, like, that series has had so many ups and downs, and it's continuously kept me for the ride for, God, thousands upon thousands of pages at this point. And like, it's new. It's a new series I'm still reading. Mars Chronicle is the third series in Battle Angel Alita, and it's been interesting. It's a prequel series. At the same time, it's a sequel series. It's doing both. It's trying to reveal some of her past while trying to add weight to what they set up in, Last Order, the second series, which kind of finished the plot. Again, the first Battle Angel Alita plot ended on the bravest note I could ever think of for a manga series to end on. It was so damn brave, and then they're like, they pulled a poor Toriyama on him, and it's like, but it's selling. We want more. And he's like, okay. And you can feel that a little bit with Last Order until he gets a groove on what he wants to say again. And then once he gets that groove, it's really good until he's like, well, to say this how I want to, I have to make a radical turn. And when he makes that radical turn, I can see a lot of people. I mean, he goes into vampires. Nobody saw vampires coming into Battle Angel Alita. Like, what the fuck are vampires doing in this story? And then you go through like 4 volumes of following these vampire characters over Alita, and then he bridges the gap to say something. And once he said that, it makes the slog, and it was a slog of this radical change in direction, totally worth it. But it was another point where I'm sure he lost a fuck ton of readers. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with vampires, man? Like, this is a cyborg story. Like, what are you doing? This was always grounded in science fiction. What's this fantasy element coming in? And it's to comment on the nature of immortality and transhumanism. And in this case, biological transhumanism compared to cybernetic transhumanism. And he really wanted to say something about that dichotomy and that overall, which I really liked. But to get there, man, he almost lost me. He almost lost me. Why is issue 2 an RPG sourcebook, bro? So I don't have to make every issue a partial RPG sourcebook. Hopefully it helped, but we'll see. It's still be shown, right? Like, there's a bunch of weird shit I'm starting to show in issue 4 that the background of issue 2 will help people understand. But still, like, was it necessary? I believe so, but it's up for the readers to decide if it was or not. And if it was not, that's my bad. I'm a new creator, right? I get to make some poor decisions along the way to learn from. I'm not going to do another RPG source book unless it's a literal RPG source book. But the point was to cover all that ground as quickly as possible so that it didn't get in the way of the storytelling later, and the storytelling later didn't have these massive gaps that needed to be explained. So we'll see. No need to duck either, Bar. Like, it's a fair fucking criticism, and one I'm surprised more people did not give me. Okay, catching up on chat. Wasn't just that he found a way to make football fun, and I'm guessing soccer football is what you're talking about? Or are you talking about American football? From the manga standpoint, but the fact that, as always, you have protagonists you can relate to. Well, that's the big one with manga. That's why they all look the same in certain circles, right? They were trying to appeal to the same idea. A protagonist with amazing ability, but terrible awareness of the field of football. Interesting. You're about to say the last time you heard talk was about a year ago. Yeah, it's been like 8 months, man. I'm so pissed. Like, I'm going to have to actually, maybe this month, try and read through Mars Chronicle again Um, it's up there. So, Page of Cactus Coyote, uh, an IDW series, Western series. I forgot what it's called. Uh, Tezuko, the Osamu Tezuko story. I forgot what the black one is there, and then all of that, the red, and then above the red is Mars. So that's all Mars Chronicle on top of the red, and then that's all Last Order right there. That's all Last Order. And then Battle Angel Alita, the original series, is right here next to Nausicaa. But yeah, uh, I fucking love Battle Angel Alita. Like he could have finished it after the first like full story arc, and it would have been again the bravest ending I've seen of almost any series. Just and it's so flat, it just fucking ends, and it's like a middle finger in the best way to the fan base and to the publisher and to the journey, but again in the best way. It's something I could see a lot of people being pissed at, but I was just like, damn, wow. And then I was like, oh, there's Last Order. Uh, okay, I'll give it a go. Then I started and it's like, okay. Then I kept going and I kept going. It was like, okay. And then he had me. And then he does a tournament arc, which is most of Last Order. He pulls a tournament arc and I'm like, okay. And then he approaches the tournament arc in a way again to comment on the difference between mind, body, spirit, the human journey, and again, transhumanism. Basically, Battle Angel Alita is just a massive commentary on transhumanism for both bad and good. I don't think he makes a stand on it either. He presents it to the reader as a simply an observer, what he's seen. He doesn't put bias into it, which is really incredible. Um, he argues on both sides. He does make a standpoint on how transhumanism will make humanity crueler and colder. Uh, but at the same time, he does show another perspective of it where it allows us to exceed our limitations in both mind, body, and or in all three of mind, body, and spirit, um, with a particular emphasis on the possibilities of that growth in spirit. That's a lot of Last Order. I think he handled it wonderfully. It's just again he had to talk about vampires for some fucking reason. No, it made sense. It makes sense, but man, that was like I'm sure he lost a lot of readers. Kind of like what's his name, the main character from Slam Dunk. I don't know that one. Tournament arcs, very hit or miss. Yeah, most of Shaman King. Once it got into the tournament arc and got in that rut, it was terrible. It almost lost me. Like it was one of the lowest lows of any manga. Like I would say it was lower than that vampire arc in Battle Angel Last Order. Like it was way worse. I was like, oh man, this sucks now. I was loving this series. Then I kept with it, and I think again he took a knock in ratings or something. He's like, oh, and then he did this with the seventh omnibus or whatever. He did a so it was like volumes 20 through 23 or 21 through 24 something like that. He did a prequel arc to justify a lot of things, and that prequel arc, which took us out of the tournament and took us into what he was really good at, was great, and it helped revitalize the tournament arc into something that could be interested in. Really cool stuff. I was very surprised. I almost, again, like Shaman King almost lost me there, just like the vampire arc. But again, the vampire arc was still better. It was still better than the start of the Shaman King tournament. The Shaman King tournament, which was always building towards. You always knew it was going to go to a tournament arc, even though it was so much better before the tournament arc. um, it's gotten better. He hasn't gotten back into the tournament itself yet. By this one, I think next volume he's gonna. And this one ended on such a damn cliffhanger. Bothers me. I think next month or the month after I get more Shaman King. I think the next manga that's coming in for me is some more Fist of the North Star, which is awesome. I tear right through it. Like it has no. I mean, it's got plot, but at the end of the day, it is just. I want to make pure power fantasy. That's all it is. Like he adds some plot here and there, get you interested, but at the end of the day, I love Fist of the North Star for the same reason I love the Punisher. It's just bad people getting taken care of in the most satisfying Schadenfreude filled ways. Like that's all I want out of it, and so far it's consistently delivered that. I have no idea if Fist will continue to deliver that. Like it could get really bad here. I don't know, but I get to see. It still hasn't lost me. But yeah, Shaman King. And then again, like I said, the Alita battle, the Last Order tournament arc it had its moments that were really bad. It had some really cool moments. But all of it was used again to comment on humanity's search for divinity in whatever form it can find it. Again, spiritually through machine integration, through all kinds of different ways. And most of what he talks about is trying to find a balance between those. And so I like it in terms of like a lot of cyberpunk dystopian stuff where it's really hyper focused on transhumanism ends up really dark, really dark and really bad. Battle Angel Alita explores those, but comments on humanity's ability to turn it into a tool more than a become a slave to the machine, which I really like. I really like that. Stop appropriating your German heritage with the use of Schadenfreude. I will as much. Man, we're talking about Battle Angel Alita. Like most of her background is German. It's really crazy because I guess it was the Germans that conquered Mars. in that lore as well, which is kind of funny. So, and also, you know what? Germans have words for things that English does not. Right? Like I could say taking pleasure in the suffering of others. Mostly with a humorous bent, not just like, oh man, it's so good that they're getting hurt. You know, masochism or sadomasochism. I don't remember which one's the outside. Right? Like we have something like that, but Schadenfreude has more of a lighter tone to it, a less dark tone to it. It's still, it still is finding joy in someone else's failure or mistakes, right? But it has a lighter tone to it. So I use that word in particular because of that. But I'll appropriate what I want. This is English. We're colonizers. That's what we do. Bronson, the guy knows how to make a nonsensical trope make sense. It does, right? Like again, it's just again and again, just a power fantasy. He's just like, here's a fucked up guy. Here's Kentaro. Here's Kentaro winning. Just that again and again and again. So far, to be fair, I don't know where it's gonna go, and I think he's gonna get bored with that format here soon. In my, like I'm reading it now. This is over and done. People read Fist of the North Star already. They know where it goes. I have not looked for spoilers to see where it goes. I'm reading it as if I'm reading it new. So I'll see. Bittersweet the taste of suffering is. We have such delights to show you. That is fair. Come to Wisconsin. I would come to Wisconsin for the cheese. Wisconsin cheddar is some delicious stuff. Whew. But yeah, man, it just ended up talking about manga. I love me some manga. Western comics, get me to love your work as much as I love that. Like, there's very few things that I love story-wise as much as, Full Metal Alchemist. Very few things could even come close to competing with that for me. Manga-wise, let alone Western comics. Like Murder Falcon, for my particular sensibilities, coming from a musical background and being a huge heavy metal fan, and having a lot of similar resonances that Daniel Warren Johnson did and then paid homage to and just loving attention and care to, Murder Falcon touched me in the best way. Cool. But like that is a wonderful piece of work. Oh God, We Three. Grant Morrison, and just I forgot the artist's name, but he did some crazy things with paneling. That artist and Grant Morrison that fuck with time and space, and then the you want to talk about transhumanism in a negative light? You read We Three, like it goes into the darkness of that, about as far as anybody would want to. Um, I know people are celebrating a lot of Elon Musk, but like that's the spectrum he comes from with transhumanism. The whole like implant shit in your brain level. So he comes from the We Three school, and not a big fan on that level. But the like We Three was another one that'll stick with me for my whole life. Beautiful but horrifying. Murder Falcon, We Three, Bone, in terms of fantasy and journey and heart, soul, levity, um, being able to present uh, certain darknesses and certain levels to a child, with this very careful hand, that did just amazingly. Ghostopolis, Doug TenNapel, how he handled death in that to communicate it again to a younger audience, wonderful. Um, there's a lot of Duckton Apple stuff I really like. His more recent stuff, his crowdfunded stuff, Bigfoot Bill and Earthworm Jim, like I didn't like those. I spent more on them than I'd like, and they're really pretty books. They're made very well. The artwork's fine, great. The pacing's fine, but like it doesn't serve me as well as some of his other stuff. Bad Island, Ghostopolis, God, even what was that one called? Cardboard was wonderful. Thomasaurus. Uh, Creature Tech wasn't that good. Creature Tech was fun, but it wasn't that good. Um, but there's it's much harder, right? Like Long Halloween will stick with me forever as like just a beautifully executed noir detective story, like what I want from Batman most of the time. Um, but yeah, it's harder for Western comics to keep up, mainly because again either they're doing a self-contained story that's only going to last that one length of time, um, and it's usually not like here's 80 issues, right? Like if I got into Claremont's X-Men run, like that probably will come close, um, because it was a single creator's vision lasting over a long period of time. uh, Most Western comic creators don't get that opportunity, unless they're doing it their own. You know, Spawn's been going on that long, but the Image folks never really, they were artists first and storytellers second, and that's always come across in every bit of the stuff I've read of theirs. I want to do a cool splash page, so let's justify it with the story. A lot of that, uh, but they have been able to do that. So I hope some of those creators were able to get a good long form arc out of there that was really good. I don't know, but it would be great. Image had Chris Claremont as a founder, and none of them had. They got Claremont on as a founder, and they didn't have him right. Oh my god, they were. It was a lot of ego that allowed Image to happen to begin with, right? So I could see that. Just a lot of ego that allowed him, like, fuck Marvel. Look what they're doing. We can't even get a T-shirt out of these fuckers. Let's go make our own shit. We got our names. Like, so I could see that attitude. Then it's like, well, this is my book. I can write it. I'm fucking Todd McFarlane, or I'm Rob Liefeld, or I'm, I'm Eric Larson. Like, we don't need this. I don't. So, what did Claremont do for Image? Like, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. I can't believe they didn't have him on. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because, like, one of my favorite bits, the thing that came really close that I really liked, was the Shooter era of Valiant when he rebooted it and tried to make a cohesive, visually cohesive and narratively cohesive universe. What he was able to do with Valiant that I've read was really cool. I love his era of Valiant because of what he was trying to do with it. The expressions that came out of it eventually failed, and they weren't that great. But the attempt was really cool to read. I started with I bought a random box off of eBay that was like, oh, here's a bunch of Valiant comics. I was like, okay, I'll check out Valiant. I got some Solar. I got some, especially that first wave of the Valiant reboot, right, where it was a bunch of Golden Age heroes, XO, uh, Solar, or not Golden Age. XO wasn't Golden Age. XO was their first like big hit that was theirs. Um, but Solar, Man of the Atom, Turok eventually, but he wasn't part of the original run. The Gold Key characters. That's gonna bug me. There's a couple of them. I haven't read Valiant in a while. It bothers me. I really like Solar Man of the Atom. That's why it sticks with me so much. I really like that first chunk of run. I love the colored pencil vibe that they went for with most of the titles. And I love Eternal Warrior. I love the interweaving that he was able to achieve. Though again, it was Jim Shooter, so I'm sure it was a nightmare to work under. But like that was, I definitely prefer that era of Valiant to the original Image that I've read, like by far. He didn't do anything because he couldn't get while Portasio or any of the rest of them to work on Huntsman, so he went and bummed around for the rest of his career. Oh, rough, Claremont, rough. Claremont was named as one of its founders. However, the project was canceled when Portasio decided instead to do Wetworks. Okay, I'm aware of Wetworks. Claremont attempted to find other artists for the series, but all those in whom he was interested were either drawing X-Men already or had their own projects with Image, and thus he did not become one of Image's founders. None of those excellent talents recognized his ability and pitched to him. That is crazy. Could you imagine if he was working with Jim Lee on a series, right? Like Jim's like, okay, well, let's do something. That's crazy. That's crazy. Talking about a missed opportunity. His why Spawn is still going. Todd's got talent, and the writers doing their own takes have the talent too. Todd eventually totally like has spread out, especially now with this universe. He knows what it takes, and so it's definitely less ego driven than it was when it was founded, when Image was founded. Especially now that he's got a bunch of like he's multi-level now, right? He's been doing toys forever, some of the coolest fucking toys on the planet. He's been doing he's done film, right, a little bit here and there. Image killed Claremont's run on Uncanny, and all we got was Savage Dragon out of the deal. So I've heard the early Savage Dragon is good. I've got issue 1 sitting right over here. I got to read it at some point. I just don't like Larson. Like, not in terms of like his artistic talent, though. In some cases, especially modern Larson, is just like, dude, come on. You aren't working to grow anymore. You've become complacent and in some ways like really kind of nasty. But people have a fondness for Savage Dragon, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. But Spawn's problem is that he's just another Spider-Man and Batman. Awesome hero, awesome stories, but he's the only hero carrying his founder. It's true. Todd doesn't have a bunch of others. And in fact, when he made the universe, it's just a bunch of Spawns, right? Gunslinger Spawn, King Spawn, which is cool. But one trick pony. I get you. Though to be, well, I'm nowhere. I shouldn't talk, but I also haven't had the time, leverage, talent, none of that he has. So there's no real use in any comparison. But okay, I got you. And I didn't think about that. It's true. It is just Spawn. I mean, Violator became kind of big for a little bit, but again, it's just a part of Spawn, right? But yeah, and I don't know what they've achieved with their long form, particularly Spawn. Like, I have no idea what he's achieved. Are there any like renowned, amazing Spawn arcs, like like a mangaka tends to achieve? Is there a golden age arc for Spawn, right? I don't know. You're being a little unfair. Claremont did do Sovereign 7 for DC, which always seemed like him writing X-Men without the good characters for DC's universe. Maybe Claremont was a bit of one trick pony too, and so it was hard to find a new balance to which, to have him express. But as you said, Sovereign 7, I haven't even heard of that. Yeah, there's a lot I don't know in Western Comics, to be fair. So with manga, there's a lot out there, but I think there is insanely more in even just the American comic market that has appeared and disappeared, or appeared and lasted, or appeared, lasted a while, disappeared, uh, that I'm just not aware of, and I haven't read, right? So talking of any authority on it, like I don't have any, but I can also say it hasn't worked very hard to get me on the modern train of it, and even the back issues, it's definitely, the gems are far fewer than the mediocre and the trash. Which I think that's any art, right? That's any art form, but still. It sucks, man, and that's why a lot of people are so tuned out. Nobody wants just one hero. They want more out of the other established heroes of said company's universe. Yeah, but then you look at DC and they're like, well, Batman sells. Superman sells a little. Hawkman, though it's critically acclaimed, doesn't sell that much. That kind of bit. I know they have, and I heard nothing but good things about his work as well. He did like a legendary run on Daredevil relatively recently. Oh God, I forgot his name. But now he's on Batman, and people are excited about that. Oh, it's gonna bug me. If you folks know who I'm talking about, please let me know in the name, because that's gonna bother me. But he did a really good chunk like run. Chip Zdarsky. He did a really long chunk on Daredevil that a lot of people really liked. And I love me some Daredevil, so yeah, I might want to check that out at some point. But now he's on Batman, so I'd like to see what he does with Batman, because I know a lot of people needed a different flavor of Batman after Tom King, to say the least. Sturgeon's law says that 90% of anything is crap. Well, there you go. Good for Sturgeon. That's because Hawkman's lore is completely insane. He's an ancient Egyptian. He's an alien. He's an ancient Egyptian alien. Not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. He's savage. He's named Carter. He's named Qatar. None of this makes any sense and the character suffers from it. So it's a lot of writers that had no idea what to do with him, trying something to get it to stick, and nothing stuck. That's what it sounds like with Hawkman. The things that stuck that I know just from like the more mainstream interpretations of the Hawkman, reincarnation stuck. His love of Hawkgirl stuck. His wings stuck. I'm kidding on that last one. Of course they did. But like those are the only two things I can think of that really like stuck. Huh. Yeah, Hawkman's tough. Hawkman's tough. But I knew that there was a good run. But yeah, 90% of anything sucks. That sounds right. That does sound correct. Um, yeah. Shit, I missed that about a half hour. That sucks. I like this guy. Should get back to him. Let's see, did I miss anything else? Who's this? Oh, God, more NFT guys following me. Come on, man. I don't want to be insta blocking you folks, but I also don't want to find my shit stolen. I still haven't worked that fucking situation out. If you folks are going to keep pushing it, stolen art marketplaces are not a good thing. But yeah. Where are we at? We're at almost an hour. I think I'm gonna call it so I can help this guy out. I really appreciate you folks joining me. I had a great talk on manga and Western comics. At least I did. I talked a lot. I learned a little. I had no idea because Chris Claremont was so involved in the Image founding. No idea. And I think they totally dropped the ball on it. And I guess they just couldn't pitch another artist to work. That's crazy. It's crazy. No idea about that. We got to compare Murata, Miura, and Hara, and that was pretty cool. Talked a little bit about what's going on earlier in the vid about what's going on at IronVerse. Um, talk about what's kind of going on with me as well earlier. So if you're curious on any of that, go on earlier. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna see if I can help this fella out. It has been a half hour. I missed it, so there's a good chance I can't, but I'm gonna try. Very cool artist. And yeah, thank you folks so much as always. And I'll catch you later on. It's been good to catch up. I'm hopefully, if not later today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday, I should do another drawing stream, which should be fun. I know it's not great, like no talent to it. You're watching somebody learn, but I've been having fun with those. So I'd like to keep it up. And it's just so my chops are a little bit better by the time I get to these sketch cards here end of the month. Hopefully I have the funds in for Jack. So we'll see from there. But I'll catch you folks the next time I can. And again, thank you so much for joining me with Coffee, Cody, and Comics. Do I have that right? I never remember which order these three terms are in. On Triple C on IronVerse Comics. I don't know. Anyway, take care, folks. Appreciate you very much. And voy con Dios. Mi amigos, you go ahead and go with God, as they say. C cubed! C cubed. Well, that means, well, that'll work. C cubed. I'll take C cubed. All right. Where's the one that I'm going to press that is right here? Yeah, let's do this one. All right. Take care, folks.